Hey, y'all, people on the internet. Welcome to A Word on Wednesday. I'm excited to be here. I tend to always be weird at the beginning of these things, but I am looking forward to this conversation. I'm looking forward to having a conversation with my brother Jade, someone who is awesome and amazing. So while I'm waiting for, okay, there he is. All right, this is awesome. Go ahead and tell us, like, where are you? You're not calling in, but where are you watching this live from? That's a here, on Choctaw unceded territory, in Louisiana. Hey,
Yo, what's up, Queen?
okay,
There
I'll
we go.
see a speaker. Hello.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Hey,
What's up, sis? How
yeah.
you doing?
Listen, I messaged you before. I'm a little bit on the struggle bus. We're gonna make it though. We're gonna make it.
It's all good. It's all
We're
good.
gonna
It
make
happened.
it. Why you gotta be so fly all the time? I'm mad about it.
Hey, I mean, it's in my genes.
Do I? Well, in my mind, I want to fix my face to be like, do I need those glasses? But I can't even rock your shit. It's like, why would I set myself up? Yeah.
I gotta show up. I gotta show out for us. You know what I mean? I gotta show out for us.
You could dance. You got the jokes. You just bagging on them. Face on the people. I ain't
Hey, my ancestors said you better flex on them any chance you got. So I'm
sometimes
like, I
that's what
got you.
you gotta do. You gotta flex where you can
For real
flex
though.
while you can. See, this is exactly
Yes.
why we have to touch on this because I just feel so strongly like every time we talk from the beginning, it's just like church. It's just like connect
It's
the
yo.
vibe, you know?
Always, always. It's always a vibe. Yes.
I'm not gonna lead with your resume, although your resume is impressive. One of the things I wanted to say at the top of the conversation is part of the reason I'm going to talk about why I'm having this conversation and why I'm having it with you. I
Okay.
strongly believe that we have to learn as across the African diaspora how to have hard conversations together. And
Absolutely.
as a Black woman, I've been taught to hold some of my most, the things that make me the most insecure or uncertain or whatever from Black
Mm,
men. And so I
mm,
am unlearning that. And so it's
mm.
so amazing to have Black men that I'm in community with to say, hey, this is something that's on my heart, brother. Can we talk?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and you are someone I deeply admire, online, offline, because you're always learning and you're being
Yeah.
transparent about that. And you're always like, look, I missed the mark, but this is how I
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
which is all of us,
Absolutely.
right? All of us miss the mark.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I brought you into this conversation because I knew you could bring the honesty, the vulnerability. Um, and you're not the only Black man I have that relationship
Of
with.
course.
Shout out to Tony.
Yeah.
Tony, our brother, the ghetto activist, is getting married this
Yeah. Shout out to
month
them.
to Black
Yes.
love, winning. So
Yes. Yes.
like, even today I had a super awesome, amazing with a conversation with another Black man, Bobby at
Mm.
Liberation Lab. So I feel honored that there are all these Black men that I'm getting to like lean into and learn from and vibe
Oh,
with.
I love that.
Beautiful. So I
I
just
love
wanted
that.
to affirm you out loud
I appreciate that, sis. Thank you. Thank you. For sure.
and um, say that this conversation is we can't have this conversation enough as Black folks. I think it's important to have it. Um, and I feel like some of the stuff that has happened in popular culture, in our political sphere, just a lot has happened that made me be like, okay, like there's some shit that we kind of gotta unpack. And with that
Yeah.
being said, I just want to remind people if you're not Black who are watching,
Mm.
I'm not saying you cannot watch this, but like A, you're a guest on this platform, and B, like you would be a guest in this space. So just keep that in mind. Jade and I are having an in-house conversation out loud.
Right. Exactly. I love that. Yes.
It was
Yes.
for the benefit of Black folks. If
Yeah.
other people who are not Black can learn, that's great. We're excited about it. But, for people who are like, well, what about me? This ain't about you, fam.
Exactly. This ain't about you.
So before we
Absolutely.
get started, do you have any things you just need to get off your chest? Any qualifying statements? Any
And I am
guardrails?
I'm an open book, so I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
So I also want to shout out my sis Courtney from Black Oak Society. We had a conversation on my podcast about all kinfolk and skinfolk. No, all skinfolk and kinfolk. And that is also part of why. So it was like that conversation, then Oscar Gate, then our sister, now Justice Jackson. It just was a lot that made, and I'm going to say it, I've been telling people I can say it because I used to be one. Gated Community Blacks came out,
Yeah.
and they did this. That's
Yeah.
what I'm calling. I don't know. That's my new word, Jade. That's what I'm calling
I'm with it. I'm
us.
here for it.
Us who
I-
are on the respectability path, who have yet to be delivered.
Yes.
The Gated Community Blacks, y'all who ain't Black, don't say that shit. Because I don't want nobody to run with that and be like, oh, it's the Gated Community. That ain't.
I love it. I love it.
So
I'm here for it.
after Oscar Gate, I was like, there's two groups that I cannot be on the internet for the next day.
Yeah.
Thrice Obamas, and I know you've heard me use that term for liberal progressive white folks.
Absolutely.
I would have voted for him 3 times.
Yep. Yep.
I said the Thrice Obamas gonna be real fragile, and they were.
Yep.
It wasn't
It
even
was
megas. You get what
it
I'm saying?
was scripted.
It wasn't the mega people who were out there on the internet. Like,
Exactly.
oh my God.
Exactly.
So I was like, the Thrice Obamas gonna be white
Hmm.
and the Gated Community Blacks. And I wasn't wrong. I wasn't
Yep.
wrong. So
That's right.
let's let kind of start there. Let's start
I'm with it.
with that. And I say I used to be a Gated Community Black because I was.
See?
I was the one person who was like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? Why is the music so loud?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't they know? You know?
Yeah.
And as someone who is still walking through that,
Mm.
it's like when you see it, you just be like, oh, that's not the
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah. It's like I used to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
And so part of that, so I wanted to say when I created the carousel, proximity of whiteness,
Hmm.
I threw a lot of terms out. I threw away honorary whiteness, adjacency to whiteness, because a lot of those things, call it what you want, it's the various ways that people who don't have a white racialized identity try to be, who either perform under the white gaze, live with the white gaze, subscribe to respectability politics, all of the
Yep.
ways in which they get to be close to whiteness, although they can never be white.
Oof.
And
That right
so
there.
one of the things we heard after Oscar Gate, and this conversation is not about Oscar Gate, I'm just using that as like the
Of
article
course.
back, right?
Yeah.
Was he's gonna make it look bad for the rest of us. So that means, and that means a lot. First of all, there's a lot. But you're concerned with how you look in front of white folks. So there's that.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna stop, take a sip of my sparkling water. I'm gonna let you pick that up. Being concerned with how you look in front of white folks.
It's it's wild because I was seeing how that was taken on, but in like the arts community. And for me, I felt I keep having this like constant message of like we have kind of lost this disconnect from our radical nature as black people because I was like, yo, like what would Angela Davis do? Oh no, not Angela Davis. She's still here. But what would
I'm
on
like,
like
oh, this
no,
is
she's still here. But like what are some people like Rosa Parks or even
my.
Harriet Tubman
Mm.
or Malcolm X? What would they have done if this happened in their time, in their original civil rights movement? I was like, people would have been trying to burn that whole place down if that was the case. You know, like they would have been ready to go after anybody who's trying to come after one of our own. And I feel we have truly gotten so distracted by this shiny ball of validation from white folks, where now it's like, oh, we get a little bit of acceptance from white folks, and whether it's Coachella or whether it's the VMAs or any award show that we get
Or Keeping
invited to.
the Kardashians.
Right, exactly. You know, and I feel now there's I feel there's way more pseudo validation than there ever was for black people. And back then it was like there was no validation. We were creating it. Our ancestors was creating it for ourselves, which is why Black Wall Street came out. You even had Black Eden back in Michigan. You know, all these different things that black people were cultivating by, around that time because they knew they didn't need white people like that. Not to say that there still wasn't, as I call them, agents of plantations, right? People who were still capping
No,
for
no,
white
you
folks.
gotta stop the live. Why are you trying to get Mark to come after me tonight? Talking about agents of plantations. Lord have mercy.
Because, you know, like I kept getting banned every time I would say coon. So I'm like, are you serious? But meanwhile, everyone can say the N word though, and nothing happens. So I'm like, I gotta come up with a better term where people ain't gonna like come for me for that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come up with agents of plantations. So nothing's happened. So like, yeah, I'm like, you know, I feel like even back then, like, yes, of course, there were still people that were still very heavily colonized, but it's a huge shift, I feel. And I think now that certain instances like this with the slap, you know, it keeps us distracted from really recognizing that there's always been a double standard where white people are always going to put way more attention on black people or people of color when they make a mistake or when they have a human moment, as opposed to the constant violence that they continue to perpetuate. I mean, the NASCAR fight that broke out the other day, like last week, no white people was talking about that. It was all black Twitter. We were like, "Where y'all at, Jim Carrey? Where you at?" Where, because they actually was throwing hands at the NASCAR fight, and I'm like,
You know,
Jim, where's Jim at?
I didn't know about that because it was for the culture. Which you
Yo,
know about the
Black Twitter,
it was
Black Twitter was
like I wasn't even paying. I wasn't checking
going in. Yo, it dropped. How did I see it? Fred Joseph, he posted it on Twitter, and then I saw Black Twitter talking about this NASCAR fight that broke out. People was hitting each other on the helmets, like two white people, right? And I was like, so where is this uproar from white folks?
for it.
Like all black people were like, I'm so ashamed at white people. Like we were going in and how much yeah, they were
There
showing
were
out.
no,
I'm like, bro,
there were no words. There were no
there
words.
was no words. And I'm like, exactly.
And the thing about the validation, so I want to like see this in two different ways. So first of all,
Yeah.
validation outside of intimacy, period, in some ways is going to be empty. So that's just
Yep. Yep.
like full stop. Like if we ain't people like that, then your affirmation, I'm never sure if it's genuine or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the thing about the validation that comes out of the white gaze and whiteness is that it, like whiteness, is not sustainable and it's short lived.
Yep.
And kind of to bring us back to the moment with Will, because that's the current popular culture moment. I,
Mm.
that ninja, have like game over.
Yeah.
So even when he had done the apology, I was like, dang, I wish I was your PR. Because,
Right.
like, I had created a speech in my head, bro. I was like, this is exactly what he needs to say. Like, somebody, like, let me be Olivia Pope. It's game over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was like, this was unnecessary. Because, first of
Mm.
all, I've already kind of said this already when I had the live conversation about that. That apology he gave was an apology to whiteness. It was an apology to the white.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
First of
Yeah.
all, like, that was
Yep.
already jacked up.
Absolutely.
Like, ain't nothing you could do at this point. You done.
Nothing.
You are
I
done.
would have just took my award and bounced.
You needed, like, he needed to come back also. Yeah, I did it.
Right. I did what I did.
I said what I said. Come catch these
Yep.
heads. Because
Yep.
you was done.
Yep.
And sure enough, did you see last week? Okay, we're going to go back to the larger topic. But did you see last week that apparently there's conversations about pulling the Fresh Prince out of syndication, off of TV,
Oh.
movies?
Off of belt. Wow.
So now y'all gonna make this a moment where everybody got to see his body hanging in the street. I got you. Whiteness is nothing if predictable, right? That's what I'm saying. It's super predictable. It doesn't really change how it operates.
Right.
So, not to say he's being lynched, I want to be really clear, but what I'm saying
Right.
is whether we're talking about the racial terror lynchings that happened across the United States in the 1800s, whether we're
Yeah.
talking about the lynching that happened during enslavement, when a black
Right.
person is being punished, then other black people have to be able to see that so they can
Exactly.
remember to stay in line. So I'm like,
Exactly.
oh, so y'all just really just gonna put this all out to
Yep.
remind us.
Yep. To
So
stay in line.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I knew it was I knew he was done. You was
Yeah.
done. So
Yep.
what's the, like, in my mind, he made a choice to, and this is what we got to complicate, which is whether it was conscious or unconscious, he's apologizing to whiteness because this is
Absolutely.
the thing he's been close to for
Absolutely.
a very long time throughout his career
Right.
as a survival mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
in some ways as a coping strategy, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so what you see is him figuring out, like, how do I move through this
Mm.
using the tool that
Yeah.
I know to respond to the violence that I'm in.
Absolutely.
So at what point do we realize you know what I'm saying? Like, when do we realize that's never going to be enough? You know, as a community, global community, national community, that whatever
Yeah.
you get in that space will never be truly, like, it won't make you whole, and
Yeah.
there's always a feeling that it can be taken back.
Yeah. 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 I feel like this is why I tell people I'm like decolonizing truly is going to save our lives on a mental aspect because when we figure out or if we kind of like brush off decolonizing as like a some kind of extracurricular type activity like oh I'll get around to it when I get around to it. It's like no, this really is life or death.
Yes.
You can be alert. The lights can be on in the house, but no one can be there at the same time. So it's like this really is a life and death situation here on about the soul of blackness. And I feel at the end of the day we are losing little by little the soul of blackness because people keep trading it for white validation. And people like Will, who I know still have quite a bit of their soul still intact because of who they're connected to and how much of even their family, like Jaden and Willow, are learning as well as really young people about social constructs. So I know that rubs off on Will. So I know like okay, he still has at least his children that can still kind of ground him back to reality of like, Dad, come on now, you know. But for people who don't have that, they're kind of far gone. People like Henry Lennox, who was the one who actually came out and was like, Will should give this Oscar back. A fellow black man who said that, and I'm just like, yo, what are you doing? What are we doing here? We're literally shitting on everything our ancestors fought for. Like what? Like that's what I keep thinking about when that's the first thing I thought when I saw all this uproar come out primarily from black people and how many black folks was like, oh, he should have did that differently. He should have talked to Chris privately. He should have never done that. Now they just sent us back years ago. Look how white people are going to see us now. I'm like, why did our ancestors die for us? If we're going to have these conversations, why did they fight so hard for us? There's a reason why they tried to abolish slavery the way they did. There's a reason why Malcolm X spoke the way he did. There's a reason why MLK spoke the way he did. There's a reason why the Black Panthers stood the way they did in front of the KKK, in front of police, who are pretty much the same. And it's like, yo, like, what are we doing here? We keep moving the goalposts. White folks keep moving the goalposts inch by inch, and then we're like, freedom. Cool. Now we can swim in public pools. We're free. Oh, let's move the goalposts more. Oh, we still can't wear our hair naturally. All right. Oh, now they just removed that. We're free now. No. No. It's taken away. The fact that the Crown Act bill has just been passed.
Wait, and let's be correct. It's only been passed in the House. It's not been passed in
Exactly. And it's like, it's 2022. We are not free.
Well, let's take a moment. The fact that an act of Congress is even necessary in the first place.
That part.
There's got to be a law.
That part.
In this country that says, hey, people who write people checks for what? Heads up.
Yep.
You can't harass or bully or fire someone for their hair growing out of its head the way God intended. So even the fact that there has to be a law. But see, now you're getting me worked up. Because I always like to remind people, I ain't a historian, but I know some historical shit.
I like that.
The fact that legislation is the thing that needed to be created in this country so that you and I could be human in the first damn place.
Exactly.
So back the train up.
Exactly.
When you're talking, what I hear is there are people, our people have not developed a posture of demand. And part of why you don't have that is because you don't know what you're owed.
That part. Yeah.
Hand to God, I hope it happens one day so I could be like, I was about that life. I told you I was about that life. Invite me to the White House. Invite me any place. So we're going to get that Department of African American Affairs or what? We need, what we doing here? Because I know enough to know y'all owe me some shit.
Exactly.
So there's this lack of identity, Jade. When you know, what you are owed, when you know your value, when you know your worth, you don't need to, and now I'm, preaching, but this is a word on a Wednesday.
Come on now.
You don't need to seek external forces for that shit. Because you already know.
Exactly.
You don't need to get on your Instagram and be like, you could dance.
But I appreciate it though.
You appreciate it. You be like, okay, I see you, Jay. But you already know.
That's facts.
Nobody else pick you up in the comments. You like, I don't. It's me imitating you,
No, I love it. I'm here for it.
I've been videos 3 times. I'm like,
I can't with you. Yes, yes, absolutely.
So part of that desire for that validation is a lack of awareness of self.
Yep. It really is. Yeah. That is what it boils down to. That is what it boils down to. And I think too, I feel, like I had this conversation with a fellow black queen on Facebook about dance, and we've went back and forth about shit before, and I've constantly had to hold her accountable because I'm like, yo, you're capping for, like, you're out here trying to be woke as a black person, but then you're still capping for these institutions that are appropriating your own culture. Like, make that make sense to me. So I think even still, we have to go even deeper into how we can really see who we are. Because simply just saying I'm woke, or putting on a dashiki every once in a while, letting our hair grow out more, and then like, yeah, that doesn't do it. That does not do it. We got to go further deep into the psyche that white people have literally locked doors to and thrown away the keys because they know how great we are. I mean, shit, the fact that things are still being cleared, things that we're still figuring out about our lineage today, lets me know it's like they fought so hard to keep our actual greatness away from us. And it's like, what do you think that's going to happen? That's never going to work in your favor. That's never going to work in your favor. The karma's always going to come back around. Always.
Yeah. I wanna dig a little deeper and get a little personal here. One of the things that I added to this, and I always start with me first, you know what I'm saying? I'm an open book in that regard,
Yeah.
is there are a couple ways we get this access. Because some people might listen to this on a replay and be like, y'all ain't white, so what y'all talking about? Okay. Okay.
Right, right.
But what are the things that gets me in the rooms? What are the things that lend themselves to me being seen as credible? What creates space for me to even get in a room is what we're talking about. So one of the things I talk about is, for me, it was educational attainment. Getting, multiple degrees.
Yeah.
I tell people now, and I'm not trying to like shit on people with multiple degrees, even though I have a lot of feelings about getting a piece of paper from an anti-black institution that says,
hey, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
I'm talking about my shit. So if you got
no, I hear you. I hear you.
I don't want nobody to be like, what are you saying about? Nope, I'm talking about me. All right.
I hear you.
And yes, your institution is anti-black. You don't even need to look that shit up. So exactly. Wherever you got your degree from, and
right.
if you got it from a HBCU,
still,
we ain't ready for that, Jade. And I don't want to get cussed out from the people at Howard. So we just I didn't even mean to say that shit out of my mouth, and I'm like, damn.
That's some ancestors talking through you. They're like, no, we go ahead and let that be said.
Okay, as always, black people, if you do want to get in my inbox, we gotta complicate it. Okay, I'm accountable. I didn't mean to shit on your Howard degree. I didn't. It's important. It's important.
He said, I choose violence today. Ooh.
Okay, let me get back
to
I mean to go there. Oh Lord, I'm so scared. I'm scared. Like, I don't want nobody from Spelman to come for me like, girl, what you talking about? That's her.
Oh shit.
It matters. The knowledge you got matters.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But you would be hard pressed to find any major institution that is standing in a university that does not have an anti-black component of it. And that's, I'm just being, I'm keeping.
It's historical. That's a historical fact.
In a buck. So, yeah. But for me, it was education attainment. So that's what got me in the room, to be taken seriously, to be seen as credible, to be like, oh, pay attention to me because I know. So. And then it was like, I can talk white. I got the same degrees that white people have. Come on. Right. Like,
Yeah.
so that was the way I did it. But a lot of people do it via the relationships they have, relationship
Yeah.
intimacy, the
Yeah.
neighborhoods they move into, right?
Absolutely.
All these things that we do consciously or unconsciously to be validated by the white community, to say,
Right.
hey, I can operate from a Eurocentric viewpoint too.
Mm.
And
Mm.
we have to be honest about that.
We do. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's something that I'm seeing. Obviously we've had conversation about the dualities of white supremacy and how that affects dance and primarily like black culture. And that's something that I'm seeing a lot right now happen is this whole like Red Bull phenomenon that's taking over black and brown communities, where Red Bull has like a short little like this chapter called Red Bull Dance Your Style. And it's a global phenomenon. And one of my homies posted up this status on Facebook that was really profound, and they're black, and they were saying that has anyone black who continues to cap for Red Bull Dance Your Style, who continues to show up because it's a free event, right? And it's an open styles type of format, so anybody can enter, but it's crowd judged, so there's no actual credible judges. The crowd can judge. So, but they were like, has anyone black ever thought, why isn't Red Bull style inside of the ballet circuit or the modern circuit? Why are they only inside of street dance oriented styles that are primarily done by black and brown people? And I was like, that right there. It's like, why are we not interrogating this? This is a multi-billion-dollar company that's white owned that is only focusing on giving back to black and brown communities of street dance and not ballet communities, not modern communities. And it's like, do we not see the pattern with that? The ultimate thing that came to my mind was missionaries,
Mm.
and how many times I was like, yeah, this doesn't happen overnight. When folks had to go overseas, when I'm just gonna call them colonizers, had to go overseas to Africa and implement religion, and then everybody just go over there and was like, all right, here we go, this is what we're doing. No, they started off small and they planted seeds. And then they were like, we gotta make sure it's believable and reachable so that way African people are not going to question what's happening. Because if we just drop everything on them, they're going to be like, no, well, what is this shit? But if we can at least start small, then we can start to infiltrate what they're doing. And then 5 years, 10 years down the road, oh shit, their culture's gone. Oh shit, and they're not worshiping their shit anymore. They're worshiping our shit. And it's like, this is the exact thing that's happening with this Red Bull shit. People are like, it's not that deep, bro. Like, you got to stop making it about white people or stop making it about race. I'm like, nigga, everything's about race.
Everything is about
This
race.
entire country was built on it.
Everything is about race.
Like, what are you talking about?
It's about class, right? In the
Exactly.
United States, everything is about class because we're talking about the fundamental elements that built the way they created the frameworks of this United States. I mean, I would say even the global West. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
about race. And then on top of that, we ain't the ones who made it about race either. So there's that part.
Exactly. So it's even more flabbergasting when I hear this from my own people, and I'm like, just say you want to be validated by white folks. Just say that. I would at least respect it because you telling me up front.
And I'm gonna come in with like that soft kindergarten voice here.
Yeah.
It makes sense that you want to be validated by white folks because of the racial terror, because of
Exactly.
the conditioning. It's because of the genetic
Exactly.
trauma, right? So
Exactly.
I want to really be sensitive here, right? Because I don't want to seem like we just coming at each other's necks, which is
Oh, of course, for sure.
in-house conversation.
Yeah.
Again, my name is Kina. I'm a formerly, gated community black. I'm right here.
Absolutely.
I didn't
Sa-
know that when I signed up to be considered smart enough or professional enough or whatever for people who are both white, but also whiteness as a system of violence. That I was
Yeah.
also co-signing on being anti-Black. That I was also
Ooh.
co-signing on desiring something that was outside of me. I didn't know that. It's like, you know how you, even
You
now,
got the contract and they got the fine print.
and you don't
Yep.
even be looking, you be like, whatever, I
Yep.
can't sign it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Just give me this Verizon,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
I was signing on the dotted line to give a part
Yeah.
of myself away that I am
Ooh.
fighting to get back every day.
Ooh.
And this is where we got to talk about the impacts of that, right? So if we can
Yeah.
say, okay, we get you, fam. We understand why you've aligned yourself. Because,
Right.
and this is something I talk about on my other platform, Divesting from Whiteness.
Yeah.
What I will say for Black folks is we sign up with whiteness as a survival mechanism.
Exactly. Yeah.
Non-Black people sign up for different reasons. Same
Totally different. Totally different.
different motivation,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
So we get it. Part of
Yeah.
what you had to do to survive,
Absolutely.
do to figure out how to get your kids in a good school, right? And that's bananas in itself.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
folks, if you moved into a neighborhood, right? Because in your mind, this will let my child get into a good school, a quality school. And I've been
Right.
taught that quality school gets you in college and you got to get into a quality college and all that stuff.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
not mad at you for making a decision that you think you have to make as a parent. What I'm saying
Right.
is we need to have some honest conversations about what happens in that exchange.
Exactly. And that's the part I feel is not happening. There's no interrogation that's happening. Because it's like, okay, cool. Like if you want to make a name for yourself as a dancer, I get it. I used to do that too. But at least know the realm that you're stepping into. Know that, yeah, I know this space is hella racist. I know they're hella anti-black, and I also know I got to get my bag. Okay, cool. I got that. That's completely transparent. Got it. Cool. But don't tell me on this shit of like, oh, you making it about race. Oh, it's not that deep. No, you have not taken out the time to really realize the deep waters you're stepping in. Right? Like you can like don't do that.
Or even be honest with yourself. I want to go back to that parent thing because I'm not a parent. I have nieces and nephews who I love, right?
Yeah.
But then you got to have a conversation. We got,
Yeah.
got the kids in
Have to.
school and they want
Yep.
to 5 Black kids. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go on. First of all, did you like information source? You get what I'm saying? Like, did you resource yourself to be equipped? Like, why are we making these decisions? Is this decision we have to make? What are our other options?
Absolutely.
Really complicate that. Like you said, investigate it. And then if that's
Yes.
the route you went, then have a
Yeah.
conversation that's honest
Yep.
about these are the choices, right?
Yep.
We got to deal with what's going to come about with that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even to that extent, having that level of deep interrogation, that vulnerability, okay, this
Yep.
is what we're losing too. One of the
Exactly.
things I said is when you put yourself in proximity to whiteness, it causes you to look at the individual
Mm.
success and stop thinking about communal wellness. That's one of the,
Yep. Yep. You sacrifice the collective.
and I hate to say it, but that's what Malcolm
That's what it is.
and
Yeah.
people have told us for a long time. That's part of the cost of that.
Hmm.
You become, it was either T.I. or The Dream, one of them did it during the protests of 2020, tweeted out, while y'all burning shit up, don't come to my neighborhood or whatever that shit was. I don't know if you remember that. One of them,
That might I haven't seen it, but that sounds more like
like I think it was The
that sounds
Dream.
more like the weekend or Dream. That sounds more like
Yeah.
Dream because as much as I hate Ti, I do know he is with
Okay.
the racial.
So
Like he's like, no, we with it.
well, T.I.
Yeah.
whole other set of issues, but we ain't here.
Right. Yeah.
Misogynoir is so real out here in the street. Okay, now I gotta do this for my sisters. Hey, PSA, women who are sleeping with men, Jade, just pause for a second.
I'm chilling.
It is possible that he is sleeping with you and he hates you, girl. Two things could be true at the same time. Okay. That's my TED Talk.
I'm just waiting for the alley oop. Yep.
Girl, he hate women. You wonder why you got low self-esteem after you wake up? Because he hated your ass. But that's not... Dang, why you got me acting up on Instagram? But...
Hey!
you know...
I'm chilling out here. I'm chilling. Yeah.
Which cross applies to all the white people and the non-black people who sleep with black people and still racist and anti-black. I'm saying it, okay? But I can't be racist. My husband is Mexican. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Oh
You can't
shit.
be racist. You can have biracial kids and be anti-black. Yes, you can. Because now you got some black and white kids who are anti-black.
There's levels to this shit.
Let me get my face straight. So, yes. So, you got the dream. We just kind of say loosely, allegedly. Tweeting out,
Yeah.
don't come to my neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
We fighting for our lives. You worried about your house insurance? Like, I mean, I get it. It's your house, but damn.
Yo, that's exactly why I said earlier in our conversation, sis. I was like, there has definitely been a loss of translation from blood memories. Like somewhere we have lost track of our blood memories. They're still there.
Can you speak to that? Speak to that, because somebody needs to get delivered.
Absolutely, yes. I feel when I say blood memories out there for anyone who's black or non-black, whatever. When you have blood memories, there is something that connects you on a subconscious but on an ancestral level that you cannot explain, but it's always there. And the more you decolonize, the closer you start remembering what was there for you, what your ancestors did before you. Prime example, we were stripped of our language. A perfect example of blood memory, okay, we gonna make up African American vernacular English. That's a blood memory. We had no idea why we needed to make up a whole linguistic language so that we could talk to each other effortlessly, but we did it because it's a way to connect back to our actual native tongue. That's a blood memory. We got stripped from our native dances. Okay, we don't have that connect anymore. Cool. We gonna create popping. We gonna create locking. We gonna create juking, Memphis juking. We gonna create crump. We don't know why we're doing it, but we got to do it in order to survive because that is a blood memory. So it's something that is ancestral. The more you start to really tie in and start decolonizing, the more blood memories make sense. The last example I'll use, and this was one that I got put up on game that blew my mind from my bro Joseph. We had this conversation months ago. But another blood memory is we got stripped from our tribes. However, back in Detroit, what we're known for is representing our streets. That's a tribe. That's a street tribe. When you go to certain areas of Detroit, they ask you, yo, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Joy Road. Oh, I'm from 8 Mile. Oh, I'm from Gratiot. Whatever. And I used to, as a kid, when I was still subscribed to Whiteness heavily, I was like, why the fuck are y'all representing streets? That makes no sense to me. That's super ghetto. And then the more I started to come, I'm like, oh, that's just our blood memories trying to connect back with us, to be connected to something bigger than us. Because that's community. When you ask someone, yo, where you from? I'm from Joy Road. Oh, shit, me too, bro. Hey, word, that's what's up, bro. Hey, Joy Road, let's go. That's community right there. Even down in, even like gang shit, that was not what white people taught us. was gang shit beforehand because originally I was about organization, but that's a whole other topic.
And it
But
became,
regardless,
and it became gang shit when white politicians bought drugs and guns and all that stuff to.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. Thank you for that, alley-oop. Exactly. So that's another blood memory. Gangs are tribes. Period. So when you ask somebody like, "Yo, I'm from so and so," oh, okay, me too. From so and so. The only reason why there was a feud and that there started to be controversy was simply because of whiteness, nothing more.
Now,
So
because I like snacks, I got to bring some food anthropology into this.
let's
I'm
get it.
I've just started watching like High and the Hog and these different food like culinary programs and shit.
I
And
love it.
watch somebody cooking in Africa.
Yeah.
The techniques, the flavors and stuff.
Yes. Yes.
It ended up. First of all, ain't nobody would eat nothing in America if it wasn't for us. Another reason 75,000.
Come on now.
Right, you need to run a check.
Come on now.
So even that, and it has,
Exactly.
and that's the positive part, because there's a part
Yeah.
that's not so positive. It is the collective trauma responses
Yes.
that we have. You know,
Yep.
I was this year's old when I realized, why do all black people run when one black person is running in public?
Yo.
Trauma response. You don't ask no questions. Jade, you start. I just started running too.
I still do that. I still do that. I still do that. Oh my goodness.
Trauma response. So
Yes.
like I tell people all the time, no, do I know directly what it means to be a black woman living in the South in 1980 to 35? No. But I
Of
was
course not.
my grandmother's body, so my body
Yeah.
knows,
Yeah.
right?
That body's blood memories right there.
And so as we start to like going back to what you said, pulling into that community, and then I'm
Yeah.
gonna just say this part out loud because there's gonna be some black folks who are like, well, community is harmful. Other black people hurt me. La la la.
Right,
Facts.
right. Yeah,
Facts.
for sure.
I'm not even
And
gonna.
that's also true.
That's true
Yeah.
because
That's
hurt
also true.
people hurt people.
Yep.
And so I always say, if I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt to somebody else, it's gonna be a black person.
Oh, without a doubt.
And
Yep.
if you have been harmed by someone who looks like you, give grace, create
Yes.
whatever boundaries that you need to with that person.
Yes. Yes.
But don't sit there and say, now I'm about to like completely like not F with the whole joint because
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Get resilience, get the resources you need so that you can be healed and not
Yep.
cut stuff off.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so, it once you get close to that, and it's like a fire, I mean, this might be a misplaced metaphor, but the closer you get to whiteness, you will eventually get burnt.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It
You
might
start to
feel
feel that
right
heat.
at first,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
but you start to. I mean, whiteness is fine for all human beings, including
Including white people.
white people. It's just that,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So you start to lose that communal value. You start
Right.
to limit your investment in other black folks, black community. You start to invalidate yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You stop seeing why you matter.
Mm.
And then you just keep coming like, what's that movie? Please, sir, can I have some more? Oliver, the orphan.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that.
It's he's an orphan and he's always asking for more porridge, but you just keep asking for more validation, more. And
Yeah.
so anything that's not rooted in self-love,
Yeah.
and joy and rest and peace, it won't sustain itself. It just
It
can't.
won't. Because it's surface level. It's all surface.
Oliver
Yeah.
Twist, yes, Oliver
All
Twist
surface.
reference.
Okay.
But it is
Yeah.
surface, and it's not
Yeah.
real. It is Black people. This is not divesting from whiteness, but I just really want to expand on this. Whiteness was created to oppose Black peoples. It is not grounded in anything real at all. White people weren't even white until they decided they were gonna like capsize the continent. It's not real. And so whenever you make an investment on some not real shit, watch out for cryptocurrency scams. What is an NSF? There is no rate of return.
Yeah, that is facts. And I think one of the phrases that I hate too, because I think this is something that kind of paints to what you were saying, is that I've heard this from a lot of Black people of like, oh, I'm gonna make change from within. And I'm like,
Jade,
good luck. Good luck with that.
Jade, don't do it. No, why are you talking about me? Because that was me, okay? That was me.
Hey, that was a lot of us. That was a lot of us.
My sister,
that's how I know it don't work.
My real life sis is on here. She's calling it NFTSs. Thank you, sis. Yes, and I
like that.
What I'm talking about.
I like that.
And when you said it, I felt that. Because for so long,
we truly are told that if we work with white people, then change can happen. And it's like, yes, and also no. It really depends here. We need that nuance of what we're really talking about. Because if we're helping white people maintain the status quo, that ain't doing nothing but keeping them more in power and us still oppressed. But if we are working in tandem of they're listening to us about shit they don't experience, then we can actually move somewhere. But it has to be from that particular standpoint.
And even to the extent, and you could call me in or out, either way, I trust you. Even the difference it makes when saying, okay, I'll work with a Grammy Association, I'll work with the Academy, but I'm showing up real full, my full self, and to play games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And what does that mean?
Right.
And what bringing that fullness into that space? Because even if you like, look, if I'm here for a good time or not, I was me. And if you decide that me being full won't work, then okay, well, sign that check as I'll leave out the door.
Yep.
So because I don't want people to feel like locked in, like, oh my gosh, if I'm not working for a Black organization or a Black company or whatever, I can't do anything. Now, I don't think either of us are saying.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
But
no,
we're saying there's a way to live, recognizing that shucking and jiving ain't it.
It's not at all, and that's
it.
Yes, exactly.
We have shucked and jived for how long at this point?
Centuries.
So that's my thing is
centuries.
If this is the strategy.
Yeah.
Work.
Exactly. And that's to your point too of what you were saying earlier of just like we have to be able to interrogate the spaces that we find ourselves in. Because I understand, like I always tell dancers too, I'm like, look, I understand that you can't be an activist. Not everybody can be an activist because that's not their calling. So I get it. And it's like, and as well, capitalism fucks everybody. So you might not be able to just leave from that particular job you got if that's all you got and you don't have a lot of other resources. So I'm like, hey, I completely get it. But you better be for sure honest with yourself of why you're in that space.
That part.
You cannot be in that space and think one thing's happening when it's not. And then try to tell yourself, no, it's okay. No, it's not. Because you're being lied to and you're accepting the lie. We can't do that. That's not how we move forward.
And they're using you to push the lie.
Message.
Not too long ago, I was at a university where basically they bought me out whenever a brown or black person came, and I was supposed to be like, this place is so awesome.
See?
And
See?
my
Yeah.
last spot got because I tell people I stopped because I stopped actively subscribing to Whiteness in 2016. So that it
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
what it is. That's my truth. I
Yeah,
heard it for a long time,
yeah,
but
yeah.
when I made that pivot, once they bought me out, I'd be like, sis, here's my number.
Right.
I ain't
Yeah.
I ain't about to lie to kick it.
Exactly. I love that. I ain't about to lie to kick it.
So, you know,
That's
so
facts.
like I said, be honest with yourself, be honest with your situation.
Yeah.
Hell, and I mean, once you, again, that's what I'm saying. At this point, I feel so strongly, whatever audience you're going to put me in, within 10 minutes, Keena going to be like, hey, so my name is Keena. I came here to get Black people reparations. I
Yep.
also, I
Yep.
podcast. So
Yep.
you also need to figure out, like, what is your purpose? What motivates you? Like, and that purpose needs, in my mind, it has to be a purpose that's larger than yourself. It has to be a
Absolutely.
purpose that grows something, that builds something.
Absolutely.
Um, Shout out to my mom who's not listening to this, but last night she and my sisters, we were talking and we were just talking about, my mom was like, you ain't a boss if you're not building for other people.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
Yeah.
the word.
Yeah.
So learning how to get, part of how you return to yourself as a Black person is bringing back that communal aspect to your life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because whiteness will work to take that from you. Capitalists will work
Every chance they
to take
get.
that from you. We
Yes.
weren't even built to be individualistic. That wasn't
Never.
how we were built.
Never. Yeah, we were always supposed to be in community. Period.
Yes, that's why work is a scam.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I'm gonna have all the people cussing me out.
I love how you just dropped it like it was nothing. Just that's why work is a scam. But it's facts. It is facts.
We out here working for shit that's free.
I'm saying though.
But when we live as a force of community, where I got you and you got me, there ain't no
Yeah,
scarcity.
exactly.
Cause they
Exactly.
eating, so I know I'm gonna eat. And there's some stuff I love about the old heads, Jade. Like there's some stuff that needed to die out. So the homophobia, the transphobia, all that,
Absolutely.
we didn't
Absolutely.
need that to cross on over.
For sure.
Some stuff, like my grandmother used to feed a man down the street
Yeah.
every day, a big old
Yeah.
breakfast plate. And I finally
Yeah.
asked my aunts, I was like, do y'all know why she was feeding him? They were like, we don't know. She just she made breakfast. She had enough. She would send us down the street with a plate for him.
I love that.
So I'm just saying,
Love it.
there is no scarcity when my mindset is Jade eating, I'ma eat, Keena eating, Jade gonna eat. We all eating. But
Exactly. No scarcity when we're on the same
tell
page.
you that if I eat or I gotta protect what I got. And so because of that, I have to hoard. I have to hold
Exactly.
on. And that's some white shit.
Exactly. It is. It is. That's why you have people like Elon Musk, who's trying to go to space with billions and billions of dollars
You
he's
know
just sitting on.
he had COVID at first. So first he was trying to bring the COVID to space.
It's like, come on, man, don't take that to aliens. They don't need that.
Last year, for
They
real.
don't deserve that.
You know, last summer when all those white men went to space, Elon was supposed to go to space.
Right.
He had COVID.
Like the planets don't need that shit. Come on now. The planets, they got enough to focus on already. They don't need no damn COVID.
So Elon Musk, spaceman, I want to buy up
Yes.
all the shit.
Yes, like the fact that they are sitting on that much money, and I'm like, there are so many black and brown people that are struggling,
Yeah,
dying because of that.
not
Like, yo,
so many of their own. I keep making this about white folks, and but so
I mean,
many
at
of
the end
their
of the day, that's what it points back to.
yeah, but so many of their own are starving too.
I know. I know. That's the whole point of what you were saying of like when you start to think about, no, I need this for myself, then nobody benefits. Nobody benefits. And that, even bringing that back to, which this could be a whole other topic by itself too for like another live, because I know you say you got to keep it under an hour, but the last thing I'll say is like, even like black capitalism. And one of the great things I loved about the new Bel Air of what they really showcased, I don't know if you watched it yet.
Oh, I loved it. And if you want to
You
get
did?
on
Okay.
talk about that,
Okay.
and you
We
think
can definitely do that.
you think they're gonna take it off the air, Lord?
I hope not. I personally, I actually just saw a news article that said that now there's a lot of job opportunities like flooding in for Will. So who knows?
Okay.
But yeah, so that's definitely some good news. But what I'll say lastly is like with the hoarding thing that you were speaking to is like this is also why when black people get to a certain level of success, we start to hoard that and forget about where we came from. And it's like, of course, we didn't come from oppression because that's not our identity
It's not
as
our
a people.
DNA. It's not
It's
our
not
DNA.
our identity. So we don't come from oppression. We come from blackness and we just happen to be oppressed because of whiteness. However, what I will say is it's so difficult because you start to see when black people are looking at people like the Elon Musk or the Gary V's, or anyone else who's like these huge billionaire, philanthropist type people. We're like, oh, we want to get to that level. Yeah, we can get there. And you forget all about your own community. So when you start to become people like Jay-Z or Beyonce or whoever, P. Diddy, you get all this money, you start living comfortably. And it reminds me that when they really talked about in Bel Air, where, Phil was really confronted with Phil and also his son,
Okay.
Carl, when he was really confronted with like how his own community was like, I'm not hearing nothing you saying.
That part.
I don't relate to you.
That part. Sis was like,
Yo, it's like I'm not hearing nothing you saying right now. Will had to bring them back down to earth. Like, yo, first off, stop calling them these people. There are people.
our
Like,
people.
stop doing that. So at the end of the day, it's like we have to continue to interrogate. Like, yes, get your money, but yo, remember, okay, I got this much money. I don't need this much, so I can go ahead and divvy that out to my other folks right now. I can go and divvy that out to them, and then maybe I can even teach them how to invest and save. So I can teach them how to fish. So now there we go. That's now financial literacy of what MLK was talking about, of why he actually got assassinated. Because that we teach black people about financial literacy and independence. We don't need white folks.
Look.
So that's a whole other topic.
I'm gonna let you have the last word, but I just want to say something on that.
Please do. Please do. Do you think?
Someone I have a lot of mad respect for Jay, like mad respect. And there's
Yeah,
places where I disagree because he, that
of
I think he's
course.
starting to walk away a little bit from black capitalism, right? I think he's starting to realize, like, oh, wait a second, this shit is complicated,
We'll
right?
see.
So,
Yeah.
so, but that's a place where I'm like, Jay, I don't, we don't see eye to eye. Black
Yeah.
capitalism, black excellence, that ain't the move.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you look around in a room
Mm.
and you look to your left, to your right, well, first of all, if you look in the room at A, are you comfortable in it?
Mm.
Then B, if you look to your left, your right, ain't no one else like you?
Right. That's a red
Check, please.
flag.
Check, please.
That's a red flag. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
what they do is they make you, and I hate to cite Kanye, but they make you hate yourself and love their wealth. The
Exactly.
irony. The irony.
Woo. That's a bar. That's a bar.
One day, hopefully, he come back to himself.
I hope so. I hope so. We can end it on that. They
right.
make you help yourself
The whiteness.
and love their wealth.
The whiteness.
Yeah. That's a whole bar right there.
I am so honored by you at all the times and all the ways. Listen,
The feeling is mutual.
How? First of all, again, y'all saw me with the Jade dance move.
I'm loving it.
Then you be like in a dark room. I be like, oh
Oh!
maybe I look good like if I just have a shadow, like.
Yes. Oh my
So
goodness.
Jade is a performer, an artist, a singer, advocate. How can the people support you, connect with you, vibe with you, run you some dollar bills? Money ain't real either, but that is the material reality we live
Hey,
with.
I mean,
We talked about pieces of paper that white
yes,
people wrote on and were like, here,
yes, yes, and gave value to absolutely. That's a whole other
we
conversation
about
for
to make
itself.
a list.
Yo, but no, I mean for everyone that's still following me, if you haven't, yeah, hit the follow button if you want to just learn more about what we talk about. I don't personally look at myself as an educator. I look at myself as a disruptor and decolonizer, because I think those two are a little bit differently. So if you get educated by my disrupting, then hey, cool, great. That's a win-win for me. But ultimately, I am not here to educate you. I also have a Patreon that's up. That the link is in my bio if you want to subscribe, whether it's just for paying reparations, just supporting me. You don't even have to really go on Patreon to learn anything, but there's like exclusive content all the time on there. And then I also help run and direct a dance organization that is full of activists of all different types of spectrums and identities. So we're called Freedom Movement. Also in the link in my bio. So if you want to follow us on there, if you're a dancer or an artist of any sort and you want to see how white supremacy affects dance, then that's the page for you as well. And I think that's pretty much it.
All right, y'all. We're gonna get free. I know we didn't leave space for Q&A.
It's all good. Next time for sure.
I
Next time for sure.
tell you to stay black because I know you're gonna be black.
Oh, you already know. You already know. Much
Night,
love to you, fam.
night, fam.
All right, yo. You have a good one. Peace.